As always, let's spare a thought for that calf whose very short life was characterized by remarkable pluck, albeit completely in vain. Here is the latest winner of 2,000 rands worth of rugged bush clothing for the bush when one wants to be rugged. Well, that is the end of another Wild Bush Week. As we hurtle towards the end of the year at breakneck speed, the world awash with encouragement for us to buy things for ourselves and our loved ones that we almost certainly can do without, let us take courage from these wise words delivered by the eminent, or perhaps not so eminent, biologist and shape theorist Darcy Wentworth Thompson. Everything is the way it is because it got that way. Until next time, we'll see you on safari.
Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. It is so wonderful to be back with you. My name is Amy and I will be with you for the show today. And here we are starting off in Kenya at the wonderful Oldonyo Lodge with some beautiful elephants. Now remember everyone that this is of course a live and interactive show, so please do chat to me. I'd love to hear from you. It's been a little while since I've joined you here at the Waterhole, and I'm looking forward to today as well as next week, where I'll be with you again for a few days before we head off into the official festive holiday time. But I am very excited to see what we have in store for us today. So if you would like to chat to me or just say hello, let me know where you're watching from, maybe what snacks you have with you, what beverages or refreshments. It's always interesting to hear. You can send those through as well. Everything's looking very peaceful here at Oldonyo, and it's always wonderful to have these big elephants around and looking so lovely and lush. Lots of clouds around. Wouldn't be surprised if there was a bit of rain that comes and goes every now and again as well, but the sun is out right now and the green is looking very luminous. I can see a little giraffe that's moving in the distance. So I'm sure the animals are coming and going as they do at the Waterhole. There we have a zebra arriving. Francis, they are beautiful animals. I mean, it's difficult to find an animal that we can't appreciate and admire one way or another, but there is something about the elephant being the largest land mammal that really does just give that sort of majestic feel. And of course the whole having three of them together here at the Waterhole, the angle of the camera as well. that one wanting a little bit of space. Duncan, hello. Thank you for asking. I am very well. It's been nice to just have a few days after my last stint at Mabula to settle in. It's good to be back home, and I'm looking forward to being on the waterhole and spending some more time with you all. It'll be a little while until I'm on drive again. That'll only be in January, so this is the last little bit of Wild Earth next week before I have a break, and then full speed back in January, so I'm looking forward to it. We've also been grateful that it hasn't been too hot here in the Lowveld. That is where I stay, very close to Sandringham, a private game reserve actually, which is one of the locations for our sunset and sunrise safaris. And I expected actually for it to be a lot hotter by this time of the year, so we've been spared a little bit, but it's coming, as it always does. We're just sitting in sort of the low 30s at the moment, which is quite mild. It can get extremely hot in the summers here in the Lowveld. Oh, it looks like we have a fourth bull making his way to join the others here. Oh, and a fifth. It's always interesting to see what the dynamics are going to be like when other individuals arrive. Can either be quite calm, or there can be a little bit of conversation, let's say, that takes place. Everyone seems quite calm at the moment. Peter, good morning to you as well. James, yes, it does look low, but it is a pumped water hole. So what happens is that when it is very popular and you've had a lot of animals that come to drink, that water level does lower. In fact, sometimes you can hardly even see the water. That's how low it gets, but it does refill, and sometimes it gets so high you can't even see. I think it's a little bit of stone that has been, I'm not sure if it's cemented in to create the water hole, but there's a bit of a change of texture there. You can see the sort of the rim of it where the elephants are standing around. And sometimes there's even a little bit of overflow there to the right. So it does vary in level, and that just depends how much water. And of course, evaporation plays a part as well in the water level. Okay, well, we've had a lovely start here with elephants, so let's head over to camel thorn where there are some more. Wow, I can't believe how green this place is. I was last here a good few weeks ago with the show, and my goodness me, it's incredible what a bit of rain can do. Wow. I feel like if I remember correctly, this was completely barren. The odd tree here or there. But this is amazing to see. Kesha, hello. You're asking, how do elephant home ranges work? So it's a good question. Basically, when we refer to non-territorial animals, we talk about home ranges. And basically, that is an area in which the animal exists, lives, it breeds, it feeds, it drinks, essentially, and those are all of its sort of activities that it uses when alive happen within that area. And it's not a area that is actively defended, so that is where the distinction between a territory and a home range comes in, and that's why we do not refer to elephants as being territorial. Even though bulls will fight one another, it's not over territory, it's over mating rights. Now, with territorial animals, part of that territory does include mating rights, but their elephants will have other bulls come in and out of their areas very comfortably. Okay, well, we'll carry on with that chat again soon, but for now, let's head over to Kenya with a bird of prey. Oh, wow. Okay, so my initial thoughts are big eagle. It's a bit tricky to see, but that does look like that gape is very far back on the side of the face, so it could be something like a steppe eagle, but could also just be a tawny. I'll just have to check if the steppe is around at this time of year in Kenya. It just looks like it's not terribly clear, but it does look like basically where the beak, the side of the beak extends all the way across the face. Otherwise, that bill is very heavy, maybe something like a tawny eagle. It's having a little bit of a water bath, cool down. Yeah, so just like the steppe eagle arrives in southern Africa for the summer here, basically they leave, they are Palearctic migrants, so Eurasia area, and then they move to Africa for the winter of that area where they come from. So they come here for the colder months, which is the warmer months for us. So it could very well be a steppe eagle. But impressive nonetheless, and very special to see the bird on the ground doing this. One of the key things that would help us is also to see its legs, which obviously we can't see right now. They're known for very sort of puffed out feathery legs compared to something like a tawny. Snazzy Fries, interesting question around why smaller birds are so colourful and eagles aren't. So it's not necessarily that every small bird is colourful, but there are some, especially if we think of birds of paradise, for example, where the males are known particularly to be very colourful and have very elaborate displays for females, even if we think of weaver birds or widers, where the males go into what we call breeding plumage and eagles don't. So that really has to do with the type of mating that they do. Eagles generally mating for life. They don't need to necessarily impress females, or even females impress males, if it works that way in some species, each season. So they will have their partner, and that's their partner for the rest of their life. Whereas with the smaller birds, or birds that have multiple females in a breeding season, they need to look as, let's say, attractive as possible to mate with as many females as possible. So that's really a basic distinction. In most cases, that would be generally why eagles are not necessarily as bright and colourful. Also has to do with the fact, I think, that they are birds of prey, and their camouflage is really important because they are hunting other birds generally. I mean, not necessarily only birds, but rodents and even fish or whatever it might be, prey species, and they need to be able to camouflage. Whereas if they are lumo pink, that's not going to help them with being able to be sneaky or catch something that they need to eat. This is definitely looking like a steppe eagle, everyone, which is very cool to see. Wow. You can clearly see that gape going past the eye. All right, well, from this lovely steppe eagle, let's head over to Founders. Oh wow, here we have zebra and sable. My goodness, that was one animal that I didn't get to see at my last stint at Mabula, which is always a bonus if we do get to see them. So it's nice to be able to see them here. I can hear some Egyptian geese as well. Such beautiful antelope sable are, and oh, there's a little one there. Goodness me. Baby sable in amongst the older ones.
Oh, yes, there's a leopard. I've got a leopard here. My name is Cedric, and behind the camera with me we've got Muscles and Paul. Well, it is Feline Friday. My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so because I've. Best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
And we have a rhino, 2, it looks like, that are popping out at least. I was very fortunate to be able to spend plenty of time with rhinos at Mabula, and just seeing them here as well. And after spending the whole week with them, I really just fall in love with them all over again when one's able to spend time with them. And having them here at Founders to be able to share with all of you is also very special. Safari Barbie, it's possible that rhinos do that. They are more, I would say, docile in that way, but they can definitely react to other animals that are in their space. They're much more obliging not that elephants aren't there. I feel like we give elephants a general bad name, but it's often some cheeky boys that like to chase off others. But there are females who will also do it to protect their little ones, even if they're not really in danger, but it's more just like, I don't want to feel insecure or unsure of anything, so rather just move out my way. And with rhinos, I have found from what I've seen that they are more accommodating, but there definitely can be circumstances where other animals will just decide to move out the way because they are quite large and can be intimidating. But I think there's maybe a rhino that's come to the water, or it's this one that's breathing very heavily. But because their eyesight isn't that great, sometimes animals will come and go. It's more if they pick up a scent or hear something that makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable, that they'll then react. Well, from the Eastern Cape of South Africa, let's head over to Botswana. And here we have so many elephants. So beautiful, the reflections in the water, all the greenery. Oh, it's wonderful to see it so green. And you can just feel summer is here. Mark, so the rhinos that we were looking at there at Founders were white rhinos. I don't think I've seen black there before, but they would look slightly different. Their heads would generally be lifted higher. They have a pointier mouth and also smaller in size. Because they are browsers, they don't have that very wide lip that sits close to the ground like the white rhinos do. And we've actually been fortunate on the live drives. I think this last week there was a sighting of a black rhino up in East Africa, which was very cool to see, just because we don't see them that often. I do sometimes wish that we could have subtitles to elephant conversations, because I know that there's a lot going on here. Even though we can't necessarily hear it, we can see by the behavior of these animals that there's communication happening. And there's a spot there where I think the fresh water is pumped in, as to the elephants enjoying that spot, and sort of a little bit of a, I wouldn't say fight, but they do all want to be around that particular point. And as one sort of group arrives, so the other group moves out the way around there, and then sometimes you have the odd bull that gives everybody a little bit of a hard time. Trixie Rose, hello. You want to know if I've ever seen an unborn baby Ellie move in its mom's belly? So I think I have. It's difficult to say if it was my imagination or if there was something else that was moving in the belly, but I definitely think I have. A mom who was definitely pregnant. I mean, I wouldn't have any other explanation as to why that belly was so huge of the particular sighting that I'm thinking of. And I think I saw some movement in there. It wasn't like a clear foot or a head, but there was definitely like the belly moved, sort of like this wave pattern. I was like, ooh, that's interesting. So I think so. Of course, one can't confirm because we can't see with X-ray vision, although that would be helpful in some cases, especially when we're looking for lions and leopards. But I like to think so, Trixie. All right, well, from Botswana's Ailey's, we're going to head over to Tembe with theirs. Well, another paradise here in northern KwaZulu-Natal, and it's never really not completely somewhat green here, I would say, but it definitely greens up a lot more in the summer, and it's just so lush, and the elephants are loving it. So much rain has fallen. You can see all of these wallowing spots that the elephants love to dig around and splash around in are all filled with water. James, it's an interesting thought, and it's something that I suppose when looking at it just from sort of a surface level in terms of big cats being the apex predators within certain ecosystems, you would think, well, they are, as one says, the kings of the jungle, which is up for debate, but anyway, we'll go with that for now. And you would think, yes, then they would own the waterholes, but in actual fact they don't. They are, so let's take lions for example, they are the apex predator, one of them at least, and their sort of routine or how they operate means that they don't necessarily hang out at the waterhole all the time. So waterholes are great places to potentially find prey. In summer, less so, because the animals that they would be hunting are more scattered. So because there's water not only in the main waterholes, but in plenty of pans or smaller little hollows that water fills up from the prey, doesn't necessarily need to come to the waterhole. We find more in desert areas or in the dry season. Then they sometimes do own, inverted commas, the waterholes in that way, where they can do their hunting in that area. But because of their sort of the way they hunt and the way that they feed on carcasses for a few days most of the time, they then actually try and keep a low profile, because the more animals that know they're in the area, the more unlikely they are to be successful. So that's also why they move into new areas, so they can catch animals off guard, sneak up on them, hunt, use the techniques that they use to be able to do that. Speaking about, let's say, lions in particular, and leopards being another one of the big cats. So I suppose when one first thinks of it, you would think, oh, well, they must own everything because they are the predators. But that is not actually the case. And it's more, I would say, the elephants really that own the waterholes, as when they are around, everything else seems to move out of their way. Well, from some elephants, we are going to head over to Kenya with some baboons. Well, these are likely to be the olive baboons that we are seeing here in Kenya coming for a drink. And there's also a bright something that's flying around. I'm not sure if that was a kingfisher that darted down. There's a particular blue that one sometimes sees that is associated with the likes of kingfishers, or there's a flock of something else, maybe wattled starlings. I'm not sure what those are. Oh, there's some zebras in the background as well. This is such a beautiful spot. Oh, lovely to see these zebras here. Interesting location. This camp, quite rocky around here, and you can just see that contrast to the green, and the view as well is lovely. Always nice to see different spots, different landscapes. Oh, there's a tiny zebra. I didn't even see that little one. Oh, that's very cute. My goodness me. It's so small it doesn't even need a drink of water. It's still probably very much suckling from mom. Inga, interesting. So you want to know if mothers in the bush ever struggle with milk production? I think it can happen. I think we've got a view of Mount Kilimanjaro there, which is lovely to see it peeping out. And yes, I do believe that that can happen, just like it can happen in human females as well. However, when it comes to the animal kingdom, what likely is to happen is that if a female can't produce milk, its baby is not going to survive, at least for the ones that don't allosuckle. Like, for example, lionesses may nurse each other's cubs. But with elephants, for example, that generally doesn't happen. So what will happen then is that she won't have any offspring that will survive, and generally then that gene is then taken out of the system because they can't be passed on. So nature's incredible in that way, and so really only animals that can produce and then produce milk, well, mammals anyway, to have their youngsters survive mean that that gene is then passed on with the healthiest individuals, rather than having any weaknesses that are then taken out of the genetic system. So interesting stuff. It does look like they are wattled starlings in mass.
I'm Ralph, and I'm taking you to Sibuya Game Reserve, which is one of the only game reserves in southern Africa accessed only by boat. We'll stay at the luxury forest camp overlooking the Kariga River with an abundance of bird life and animals grazing on the opposite bank. Luxury tented suites set in a riverine forest offers the perfect place for privacy and comfort. Join me on Sibuya and let's experience it together.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Veronica, yes, I do think that there are occasions where young mammals may drown. It's not nice to think about, but yes, there's not always areas where there is reserve management to intervene in certain cases to help situations like that. Also depends on reserve policies, but there's plenty of areas that aren't necessarily monitored or that we have view of where there might be situations, even with quite busy river crossings, or maybe there's a very strong current. I've heard of even baby hippos being washed down rivers and drowning, so it definitely can happen. James, thank you for your question. You were just saying that the other day you saw loads of elephants in the Mara, and it made you wonder, do herds come together and wife swap, inverted commas, to keep the said herd genes clean and not inbred? So when it comes to elephants, James, that's not generally why herds would get together. You would have sort of hundreds in one area. It's generally that is resource based, and they coming together because of there's water in a certain area that they will enjoy, or maybe particular browsing or grazing that's good, that leads to a large amount of them coming together. They most likely would know each other. They could even be family, some related along the line, but it's not to, as you say, wife swap. family herds generally stay together for life, although there are females that do separate and start their own herds. That is why we have multiple herds. If elephants just stay together their whole life, we would just have one ginormous herd of elephants in an area. So they do naturally split off when certain females may feel that there's too much pressure within a very large herd, and you're looking at herds from about 5 to 8 individuals. I've seen most of the time they can reach 10 to 15, but that's quite large in terms of their small natal herd. But yes, they do join together in bigger groups, like I say, over shared resources. Now, generally what happens at that time is that there's no wife swapping. As you say, the females don't mix and match with males to ensure genetic variation. Generally, there will be a dominant male. He would have earned his right to mate with females. But it also links back to home ranges and the fact that an elephant herd may find themselves in various different males' home ranges at different times of the year, meaning that because elephants don't have a strict breeding time, they can give birth at any time of the year. It means that they can, the females who come into estrus at different times may actually mate with different male dominant bulls from different areas, which helps ensure the genetic variation. All right, let's head over to Timber Plains. Where we have some wallowing hippos here in the water. Always nice to see hippos around enjoying, resting, lazing the day away. And there's a little one there in the back sitting next to Mom, I'm sure. Now you may think that they are very lazy just lying here, but you have to remember that their most active time is actually once the sun goes down, where they'll head off and graze. Quite strict grass eaters, and during the day they do sometimes graze. That definitely does happen, but generally they prefer the evenings where it's nice and cool and they can stay moist when they leave the water. You can see that there is a little bit of movement. They're not completely still. There's another little one here closest to us. Actually, I didn't realize how small it was. It's even smaller than the other one, I think, that's also lying next to Mum. I do love a baby hippo. Snazzy Fry. So when it comes to hippo families, it is an interesting one. You will generally have multiple hippo families depending on the size of the waterhole. So you might have different family groups that share a very large water system, especially in rivers or very large waterholes. You can find different groups together, but there's almost always at least a dominant bull male hippo that is the one that mates with the females. You might find other young bulls, but generally they aren't too welcome. The males are very territorial in that way over their waterholes, and they will fight off rivals quite dramatically and viciously if they need to. A hippo fight is not something that one really wants to see, although it's an incredible thing to witness the power between them. You often find that one can be very seriously injured, and oftentimes what happens is that you're driving around and you see the hippos, blah blah blah, and then the other day I think Eric had it on his drive where there was just one hippo in like this shallow puddle. And most likely in those scenarios what's happened is that young bull, likely to be, has been pushed off by another bull from its natal waterhole, if you want to put it that way. Although hippos do move around, so they're not necessarily stuck to one place. They can move from a group can move from one waterhole to the next, depending where they feed and where they end up in the morning. So they might have multiple waterholes that they visit. And basically that young bull is sent off to lick his wounds if he was not the victor of a fight, or even if maybe he didn't challenge the dominant bull, but the dominant bull was like, I'm not having it, you are out of here. And then you'll also have females who separate themselves from their family groups to give birth. And that's to protect the little one. They usually do that in the shallows, and once they feel comfortable, then they'll come back. Like you see the moms here with their little ones are old enough to move back within the group. And it's much the same, I suppose, as lionesses that move off with their little one, just to make sure that they don't get injured or hurt by some of the older cousins and things that might want to play with them within the group. And you can see that hippos enjoy being on the edge of the water, especially in a flowing system. It looks like this is water that's flowing actually quite strongly, and they aren't necessarily the best swimmers. They are not going to choose to be in very strong rapids or very deep water. They prefer to actually be able to walk on the ground, and so when they sit, they can put sort of half their body or their entire body in water, but their head is still above because they need to breathe. And they don't have that sort of amphibious quality where they could go underwater and have gills or anything like that to aid them. So they need to be able to reach the surface essentially. So they don't want to be where the water is flowing too strongly or where it is too deep. Well, here we have the hippos in Zimbabwe. We are going to head over to the Serengeti. Oh wow, this is cool. We've got some water back here. These look like the Dafasa waterbucks. You can see there on the rump more of sort of a white patch than this typical circle that we see in the other species of waterbuck. He's giving that lady a good sniff. Ooh, let's head over to a fish eagle. Well, we'll be back with those waterbuck, but we don't want to miss out this beautiful bird of prey here in Kenya. Wow, look at that, the African fish eagle. Such an iconic bird for Africa, for safari. And whether you're in South Africa or Kenya, it is the same, and it is beautiful. We've been having a very lucky day with birds of prey. Now, unlike the steppe eagle. These are not migratory birds. So the African fish eagle is resident in areas where they occur. So this one will live here in Kenya, and you'll have ones in southern Africa that are resident generally around water sources. You can see this one is near the water. Of course, being a fish eagle, they do primarily eat fish, but they can have varied diets depending on what the opportunity presents. I've seen them along the coast as well, generally not fishing too much within the sea, but definitely within rivers that then meet the sea, estuaries, things like that. They generally prefer stiller waters where they can sort of see and be able to hunt efficiently, from what I've observed. Looks like it has a few wayward feathers around that it needs to do some preening for. You can just see those white bits flicking out between its darker feathers, one at the bottom, one in the middle, and one on top. I think it was doing some preening. It looks like it even has a tuft of feather on its beak. I really wanted to drop down and catch something. Wouldn't that be just incredible to see? It looks like it is looking, like it's trying to see if there's anything there. Now, often we do find these birds in pairs, so it's likely that somewhere nearby there might be another fish eagle that is its partner. We were speaking earlier about birds of prey not being as colorful as some of the other species because generally they mate for life, and fish eagles is one of those that do. The female is larger than the male in these species, as is the case with quite a few different birds of prey, including the Wahlberg's eagle as well, Marshall as well, and so it's difficult right now. I wouldn't be able to tell you if this was the male or the female. Generally, only one can say once they've seen both together who is the larger one, because their coloration is identical in both adults. Well, before they disappear completely, let's head back over to Serengeti to the waterbuck. So it looks like a herd that came down to the water for a drink, and there was a dominant male within that group. You could clearly see earlier when we were here, he had quite a large pair of horns there on him, where the females do not. And so his territory would probably include the waterhole that we just looked at as their sort of area, and they wouldn't wander too far from where they are now, generally always within, I would say most of the time, a few hundred meters from water. But of course there can be exceptions to that. Okay, well, from here we're going to head over to Lentor for some baboons. Well, we always find them so entertaining, and I love this spot. Very, very pretty with the reflections as well.
Join me at Mabula Private Game Reserve from the 10th until the 15th of March 2026 for an exclusive 5 nights for only 6 guests here in the natural, relaxed environment. Explore South Africa's finest reserve here in the Waterberg and enjoy the wildlife and the diverse landscape.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Oh wow, look at that. I wonder if this heron was disturbed. Oh, I think it just gave the baboon attitude. Oh, that's cool. It looks like a very unsteady branch, if you ask me. Good for you, grey heron. Oh, there comes the baboon back. It's always nice to see the little ones around, and they get a little bit feisty sometimes, play about. Oh. Ollie, so when it comes to baboon troops, there will be rankings within females, but there won't necessarily be what we would refer to as a female leader. The leaders of the group are generally a group of dominant males. We call it an oligarchy. So like hyenas and elephants that have a clear matriarchy, baboons are not the same way in that regard, but females will also function according to some sort of a ranking system as well, with the older ones, you know, mothers, the ones that are well or ones that are younger or maybe sick, sort of ranking below, and you can sort of see that in their behavior and the treatment of each other as well. But it's not as fierce, I would say, as the males, whereas in a group they can get into some very serious screaming matches or really try and dominate over the younger male baboons as well. All right, from here we're going to head back over to Old Daniel. Wow, look at this. So much life. Elephant, giraffe drinking, and the tiniest little zebra once again there on the right. It's lovely to see all the giraffes slowly arriving. Now that the zebras have moved off, it seems to be that there's a little bit more space for them to come and have a drink. Alright, well, from the lovely scenes here at Oldonyo, let's head over to the salt pans of the Kalahari in Botswana. Well, it's wonderful to see it also green here, to see the water, and the animals must just be loving it. You can see the wildebeest and zebra all around. Yes, melanistic marble, I must say, quite a few of these cameras that we've had today are new for me. I think this is one of them. It's really very cool, including, I think, tortillas in the Mara area was also one that was new for me. So yes, it's so great to have all of them, and Finch Hattons as well was another one that I hadn't been to before. So you can just see that these areas are teeming with life. It's wonderful. And it has been special to be able to see a few different cameras that hopefully will stick around all of next week. It's always great to just have the option to have the variety. It does add so much to the show. Mayesh agreed. It has been a show full of wonderful sightings, lots of variety as well, including those birds of prey, which was very cool, and lots of animals there at Founders too, including sable and rhino, which was lovely. Elephants all over, which we are not surprised by, and of course here with wildebeest and zebra. Well, from here we're going to head to the Lowveld and see what's happening at Simbavati. No surprise. Some elephants are here. I'm sure it's going to be somewhat of a cool down and a drink. They would have had, if not done already, a little bit of a splash. It is quite a warm day today. Looks like they're walking right this way. Oh, there come the little ones as well.
Let's go and take a look. See you out there. Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Whoa. This is action-packed.
Best sighting I've presented. I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala. We got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
And affection between elephants. Well, as those Ellies head off, let's head over for some baboons at Lentor. Mr. Elemental, thank you so much. It has been a wonderful live at the Waterhole with you all. I can't believe we are coming to the last few minutes of the show, actually. Oh, whoa. Hello, baboon. That's right here by the camera. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. I won't be with you all tomorrow, but I will be here with you from Monday to Friday. So yeah, I'm excited to spend a few days with you. It's nice when you have consecutive days, you really get into a rhythm of what's happening at the different water holes, which is quite nice. So I love to do a few days like that in a row when it's possible. You can hear a hornbill calling. This is a very big baboon. My goodness me. Definitely one of the dominant males in the troop, I would say. Oh, hi. I love when the babies ride on the back like that. Well, to everybody who joined us here at Live at the Waterhole today, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for all your comments and questions. It was really great to have so many of you chatting to me, and some great questions that were asked today. So it's always wonderful to have your contribution to the show, and gives us some fascinating topics to talk about. This baboon's also saying goodbye to you all, and we do wish you all a pleasant day or evening ahead, depending where you are in the world. Remember that this afternoon we will be live once again, and then Live at the Waterhole will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. As I said, I will not be with you, but I'll see you all again on Monday, so I'm looking forward to that. Keep well, everyone. We'll chat again soon. Goodbye.